So as mentioned previously in class, you are going to be using whatever IDE you feel more comfortable with. You have already been presented with some videos that show you how to download Java, how to install it, how to get it running, and how to create programs using the command line or using text editors. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to find and download and install NetBeans, which will actually write the first program for you. It's pretty neat, pretty easy. It's free. I'm going to do this in a new window. I'm simply going to search for NetBeans. It's also put out by Oracle, the same people that are in charge of Java and actually own MySQL as well. Welcome to NetBeans 13, which I imagine is the latest and greatest version of it. And let's look for download up in the right corner. And NetBeans 13 seems to be the latest one released. It's currently sometime in March. I think the last day of March, tomorrow, April 1st, or so they tell me. Don't believe it until it happens. March 4th should be the latest one. I'll click on download. Gives me some information on what it's going to download, what it's going to install, what it's going to be doing. Community installers are always good. That means that they're open source. They will never cost any money until a greedy person shows up, I guess. So here's the installers. I have a 64-bit machine. I want Apache, NetBeans 13, Windows x64 exe. There's also a SH. This is for Linux. This is a shell script, and then there's a Mac version. For my Windows, I'll click on that one, and it tells me that here's a link and a backup site, I guess, in case the other one is down. I'm going to download this into my desktop, my real desktop, not the fake one, the one that Microsoft wants me to use. I'll follow the download. I'm using Chrome. Show it in the. It's still unconfirmed. It's still coming in. Not as fast a connection as I hoped for, but it shouldn't be an issue. Looks like it's complete. From unconfirmed, now I have the Apache installer in the same place. I could either minimize my space here and go find it. It's here in this corner, but since I already have the folder open, I'll double click. Cross my fingers as I say, yes, take over my computer and install this. And it's moving pretty fast. And it tells me, hey, welcome to the installer. Do we need to customize? I'm not sure. I'm just going to go with the default. It tells me what it's going to install. It's going to do the base installation for the IDE, the Interactive Development Environment. It would also like to install Java SE and Java EE. I already have Java installed, so I'm going to just let it go through, and in case it runs into an issue, I'll then tell it to stop, because I've done this before and no overlap of Java versions was experienced. And it's also going to tell me that I can do JavaScript, HTML5 coding, as well as PHP, none of which we will do in this class. I'll click next. Here is the basic standard GNU conditions, etc. Basically, do no evil type of thing. And there are some concepts that are pretty old. I will accept them. Click next. Tells me I'm going to put this in my program files. Notice it's not the x68, so this is a 64-bit application. This is the only folder really where I want to put my stuff. JDK 18 will also be placed elsewhere. It should already be there. I'll click on next. Check for update, so in case there's a new version to bring it in, that's fine. I'll keep on going. I can close the folder for now, and it's now looking for a new version just in case there is one. And it tells me it's complete. So I'll click on finish. It created a link on my folder. It's a shortcut. I'll double click it. For the first couple of times that you load your NetBeans IDE or whichever IDE you end up with, more likely than not, it's going to download additional code that was not available at the time of installation. That's why you wanted to keep on checking for updates, so you're current. Okay, so my NetBeans recent projects, I have none. So let's see. Let me get something started really quick here. It says no recent projects. So I'll go to my projects, files. Actually, the file at the top says I can create a new project. I'll select that. Choose the project. Well, I have none so far. It tells me, do you want Java with Maven, Java with Gradle, Java with Ant? These are different flavors of code that we'll talk about later. It looks to me, though, that Maven is the one that is standard and we want to keep on using. I'll click on Next to move on to the next thing. And this becomes important. Where do you want to keep your projects? This one is telling me in my Documents / NetBeans projects, which will be created as soon as I commit to this, is where it wants to start. Notice though how it starts in C:/users/ my username / documents. So thankfully there's no one space or the OneDrive from Microsoft, which would be my fake desktop, my fake documents. These are my real documents. These are going to be in this machine even if I turn it off and I'm not connected to the internet. So that's fine. Or at least it would be. I know where it is. I could click on Browse and say, well, you know what? I want to stay true to the spirit of the class. Previously, I had a folder called Java on the desktop. So I'll click on Desktop, double check again that this is my real desktop. This is in my PC. It's not inside of OneDrive. It's not inside Creative Cloud Files. It's not inside any of the fake, or I should say highly interactive, highly constantly changing folders. So I'll click on Finish. Once I tell it, okay, file name desktop, that's fine. Click on Open. And it tells me project location is users FIR, which is my username / desktop. I want to add at this point here another / and Java. So it creates a folder called Java. And I'll, just for safety here, I'll put in another /. It tells me later that the artifact ID is Maven Project 1. Notice it's grayed out, so I don't want to mess with that. Group ID is com.mycompany. If we had a real company or if we were working for the college to create an application or anything here, you might say, well, I could do edu.dallascollege or whatever your domain might be. We don't need to change it. In the end, this is optional. I'll click on Finish. It's writing some information. There's an XML file. And then it presents me with a full program. It has a couple of links at the top. Every project that you open in NetBeans and many projects that you open in various IDEs out there will create links for you to refer to. However, notice how there's a /* that opens up this series of text messages. Then it creates a package. And then it has another comment. Notice the stars and slashes. This is something that will not be part of the program. It's just there for your information. However, if you read ahead on the lesson, you'll see that your first project is to create a Hello World package or program. It's already here for you. It's creating a new class, a public class called Maven Project 1. We might want to change this, and I should have changed it at the beginning. I'll change it at some point, or rather, I probably will create a new project and call it Hello World instead. But for now, it'll be called Maven Project 1. That's the name of the file, and that's the name of the class. In Java, this needs to be consistent, that your class name is the name of the program as well. It then has a print statement, system out, println, so it creates a new line. It goes to the next line as soon as it finishes with Hello World. It adds a carriage return, and then it's done. There's a play button on top. This will run the project. I click on it, And because it's not truly compiling it, it's actually just running it in memory. It tells me at the bottom, it's displaying its own terminal. It says, hello world. That's all that happened. Hello world. It says, okay, that worked, build success. It took it a little bit more than a second, and it tells you when it finishes with a timestamp. You can change this if you want. Hello world, good morning, or whatever your message may or may not be, and then run it again and see what happens below. Hello world, good morning, and we're done. You can save this project file, save. Actually, it's already saved automatically since I ran it. If I close NetBeans, exiting will terminate the following processes. Well, they're not really doing too much right now. I'm going to cancel that, and rather than closing it like that, force closing it, I'm going to tell it to close all projects, at least close this one. So then it's done. I'll close it. It says it's going to terminate the processes. Well, now I'm not really concerned because I know the file is saved. And my Java folder was created in my desktop, and here's my Maven project. And as I've told you before, once you've done a project in one of these IDEs, you end up with multiple files. You want to find the Java file. Here's the source. There's a main project. That's the main statement that was added to the code when it was first created. You'll be typing it a lot, or copy and pasting it, or just letting your IDE put it in for you. There's a Java file. It's just an edu, Dallas College, you know, the main that I added. And then there's a text file called mavenproject1.java. I'll right click and see what it's all about. I'll open it, and there's my code. So when turning in assignments, this is the file that I'm looking for. This one's called mavenproject1.java. In the next assignment, you'll be creating hello world, which actually NetBeans will do for you. It does all the typing for you. But the saving, the naming of the class, the naming of the project is up to you. So that being said, I'll move along to the next video.